Well, I'm getting there, slow but sure. Um, but let me say first off, um, I'm very pleased with that Vevor mini lathe. Number one, I haven't broken it, and I'm doing some pretty rough stuff. Uh, Mainly, I'm doing a lot of this. This is what it looks like in the raw, and this is what I'm doing with it. And I'll be using this in various projects. And when I first started on this, I was running into so many problems. I thought, well, if my even though I'm retired, if my time were worth a penny, I'd be better to buy the steel rod. Of course, it wouldn't be nearly as much fun. But here's what I did. Right now, I've got it where I want it. I can do a piece like this in about 15 minutes. At least this part of it here. And that's plenty good. So here's the frustration was, I guess since everybody but me knows this, nobody talks about it. Finally, I ran across an episode on blondiehacks.com. Her YouTube channel. I like the way she teaches very much. But anyway, she had one episode on using the tools. Well, I didn't know that you got to center the tool right in the center of the stock you're turning. Everybody but me knew that. At any rate, that was the biggest source of chatter and every other problem I had. Until I started doing that correctly, I couldn't take much metal off. I mean, and of course the rebar, until you get all the proud surfaces taken down. This is a good example of that. See, you do have to take very shallow cuts, just because it's hitting a blank area or low area, and then it hits the proud area. But once you get that taken down, like I've got this one here, this side, then you can start stepping up the depth of the cuts. Also, there's one other thing. I'm going to go get it and to show you. Show and tell. This is the purchase I made early on, mainly because I had some tools that wouldn't fit in the standard fixed tool holder that came with the lathe. But since I discovered that I got to have the tool centered toward the stock, the ability to raise and lower this and then lock it into place is absolutely paramount. So that was the best $30 I ever spent. And it came with several tool holders. So I can, in fact, have these already loaded up with the tools I often use. And so it lives up to that promise, but also this ability for me to quickly adjust this to the center of the stock is really, really important. Now that begs the question, what am I going to do if I had 2 or 3 inch round stock? I don't know if there's enough movement in this to deal with that issue or not. It may be so. It's quite a bit because you're only got to go half the width of the stock. So that should take me out to 3 inches, I think. Beyond that, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But that is a must-have kind of thing. As far as tightening everything up, I was surprised that I had very little tightening to do. I did tighten up the jibs on the tool holder, adjusters, whatever. And I got those as tight as I want. And let me explain myself. If you got your tool set up exactly right, you're going to have very little chatter. It's going to cut, really fine. But when it does chatter, I don't want it too tight. I'd rather the whole thing give a little bit than to break my tip off. And I do like the carbide tools. I've got some brazed carbide, and they're fine, except they are if I chip like this one here, and this was early on when I was having a lot of difficulty, but I chipped over here. So I just loosened it up and turned it around. This one here, I've been running it quite a bit, and I think I've still got quite a bit of life left in it before I have to turn it around and get that last remaining side. So people talk about the carbide being expensive, but given the number of tips you get, I'd rather pay just a tad more. That's all it is, a tad more, than have to regrind either high-speed steel or brazed carbide. So, although I've got a little bit of everything trying to find the magic bullet, but the magic bullet is the alignment of the tool to the very dead center of the round stock. So anybody who's watching this who, like me, didn't know that, now you do. We have no excuse. But again, I've been using this lathe for, I should say, I've been abusing this lathe for 5 or 6 hours of use, and it's holding up very well. The live center that I bought, which is about to drive me nuts because the bearings in it are very noisy, which indicates to me that it's not very well greased inside. I'm going to have to see if there's any way I can deal with that issue. It doesn't seem to hurt anything, but it just, oh Lord, it's hearing those bearings run around in that race when I'm trying to pay attention to other more important things. It's a bit of a problem. Well, I'm not going to take up a lot of your time on this video, but that once I got this done, I'm good to go. Remember, I'm a hobbyist. Although I am encouraged, I'll be able to do some semi-precision stuff. But mainly what I wanted to do was just get things in roughly the correct diameter and take scrap. See, when in a construction site, they will, when they're running their rebar, if they got a length too long, they cut it off and throw it aside. They don't have any use for a short piece of rebar. So I can pick this stuff up for nearly nothing. And yet it seems to be good enough for any purposes I have. But I've got more to do. This cuts shows it. Let's see. Let me find my camera. There we go. You can see the tool marks, and part of that's because I'm experimenting. I could do a better job than this by taking down another 3/1000 and let it run the entire thing instead of stopping it and messing with it. But at any rate, it's going to get the job done. Oh, back to the tool marks. I do want to experiment with see, this tool here is pointed. See? Which is great for this kind of cutting. But I've got a tool that I can set it, it's wide, a wide point. And I want to run that maybe a thousandths or 2/1000 down on that and see if I can get a smoother finish. So I've still got a lot to do. Having fun. As a retired guy should. Yeah. All right. Well, have a good day. If you're getting anything out of these, please subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscriber numbers up, of course. If you like a particular video, hit like. And let's see, may the force be with you, or whatever. Have a good day.